Hello my dear students, once again welcome to your online class. Hope you had a very good Dasera holidays. So now it's time for you to come back to your virtual classes again. So today in this class we'll be studying 7th chapter of your physics textbook, that is the heat transfer. Okay, so in class 7 also we have already studied about the three ways of transfer of heat, that is the conduction, convection and the radiation. And here we'll learn about the difference in the boiling and evaporation, the factors that affect the rate of evaporation. We'll also learn few of the application of evaporation. We'll learn the thermal expansion and its three kinds. We'll learn the application of thermal expansion, and we'll also learn the thermal expansion of liquid and its application, and finally we'll learn about the thermal expansion of the gases. So now coming to the first topic, the boiling and the evaporation. So what is boiling? The boiling, it occurs at a fixed temperature. Like for example, the water always boils at 100 degrees centigrade, but the evaporation, it occurs at any temperature. Okay, just like in a daytime when the sun is bright. So even though the temperature is not 100 degrees centigrade, the water evaporates. So the evaporation occurs at any temperature. And the boiling, it occurs throughout the liquid. Suppose if you take water in a vessel and boil, the boiling process, it takes throughout the liquid, not just through the surface, but the evaporation is the process in which this phenomenon takes only from the surface of the liquid. Another difference between the boiling and the evaporation is the boiling, it does not it creates a cooling effect, but whereas the evaporation, it creates a cooling effect. Okay, so there are some of the factors on which the rate of evaporation depends. So the first one is the temperature. Okay, so the rate of evaporation is directly proportional to the temperature. The higher is the temperature, the faster will be the evaporation. You must have seen that the clothes, they dry faster in a hot weather. The second is, it's also directly proportional to the surface area. Surface area. Okay, like if you keep a tea in a cup and in a plate, okay, you will see that the tea which is left in a plate, it cools much more faster than that in the cup, because the plate, it has a larger surface area. So the second factor on which the rate of evaporation depends is the surface area. The third, it depends upon the pressure. Okay, so it also depends upon the pressure. So how? To the pressure, the rate of evaporation is inversely proportional. Okay, so the lower is the pressure, the faster is the rate of evaporation. The fourth factor, it also depends upon the speed of the wind. Speed of wind. Okay, like if you have a water or any other liquid on your palm, and if you blow air, what happens? It dries faster. So it depends upon the speed of the air. The fifth is, it also depends upon the humidity. Okay, so humidity, the more humid is the climate, the lesser will be the rate of evaporation. So these are the 5 factors on which the rate of evaporation depends. That means these are the 5 factors that affect the process of evaporation. They are the temperature, surface area, pressure, speed of the wind and humidity. And it also depends upon the nature of the liquid also. N-A-T, nature of the liquid. Okay, so now remember these 6 factors: temperature, surface area, pressure, speed of wind, humidity and the nature of the liquid. Now coming to the third topic, application of evaporation. So in our day-to-day life, we apply many principles. Okay, many places are such that where we apply the application of evaporation. For example, after washing our clothes, we keep it out in the sun. Okay, because with the increase in the temperature, the rate of evaporation is faster. When you want to cool a certain liquid, we spread it over a vessel which has a larger surface area. Okay. Another is the common salt that we eat in our house. Okay, it's also obtained by the process of evaporation. So apart from these examples I told you, there are many other examples that you may go through your textbook. Now the fourth important topic is the thermal expansion. Okay, so this is thermal expansion. So what is thermal expansion? So usually when the substances are heated, it becomes bigger. Okay, it expands. That is known as a thermal expansion. So the expansion of the objects or any substances on heating is known as a thermal expansion. Now this thermal expansion can be of 3 types. if you heat a linear object like an iron rod, okay, so what happens, it increases in length a little bit, it will become a longer one. So if the heating causes the increase in the length, then it's known as a linear expansion. Now if you heat a two-dimensional object like a plate, okay, or steel plate or a metallic plate, what happens, it becomes a little bit larger in the area. Okay, so this increase in area is known as a superficial expansion. So the thermal expansion in which there is an increase in area is known as a superficial expansion. Now coming to the last one, the cubical, which you also can call volumetric expansion. If you heat three-dimensional solids, okay, like a cube or a ball, what happens, it increases in its volume, and that is known as a cubical or a volumetric expansion. So these are the three kinds of thermal expansion. Now some of the application of thermal expansions are, so nowadays we do not see a bullock cart. Okay, so in the olden days, the bullock cart, they had a wheel made out of wood. Okay, but wood is not so strong. So that's why what they used to do, on the circumference of this wheel, they have a metallic disc, a ring. Okay, so how is it fitted? So when initially the wheel and the metallic ring is smaller than the wheel, but if it is small, it does not fit. So what is done? The wheel is heated. On heating, it becomes larger, and then it is fitted over the wooden wheel, and then a cold water is poured. On pouring, it shrinks, and then it tightly holds on to the wheel. Okay. Then apart from that, we also have some other expansion, like in the railway track, you must have seen there is a small gap left between the two rails. Okay, so it is because during the summer, what happens, due to the strong heating effect of the sun, there is an increase in the length of the rails. Okay, so if there is no gap left, what happens, the rail will bend, and there is a chances of accident. Okay, the train may get derailed. So there is a gap left between the two rails for the expansion during the summer season. Okay, so there are many such. Another you can see is during a summer, like the wires, the electric wires between the two poles, they are not straightened, okay, not with a great tension, they are slagging a little like this. It's because during the winter, what happens, due to the cold weather, there is a contraction occurring. So if the wire is already stretched, what happens, due to contraction, the wire may break. But if it's lagging little, what happens, due to the contraction, the wire gets straight. Okay, so these are few of the applications of the thermal expansion. Another is the thermal expansion of the liquid. Just like the solid, all the liquids on heating, it expands. Okay, but unlike other liquid, the water has some peculiar different kinds of expansion. That is known as the anomalous expansion of water, which you learn in chemistry, and you will also learn in your higher classes. Now its application is in a thermometer. Okay, so in a thermometer, what we have inside the capillary of the thermometer, we have a liquid, a mercury. Okay, so when the bulb of the thermometer is heated, the mercury expands. Okay, and then the level of the mercury in the capillary, it rises. Using the principle of this thermal expansion of the liquid, all the thermometers are made. And finally, we have the thermal expansion of gas. Even the gases on heating, it expands. You can take it a very simple example. An inflated balloon, if you keep it out in the sun, what happens? Its size increases, because due to heat, the air inside the balloon, it expands, and sometimes the balloon bursts also. It's because the air inside it expands so much that it cannot hold on, and then finally it bursts. Okay, so these are the important topic in the chapter heat transfer. So dear students, once again please go through your textbook in detail, and if you still have any doubts, you are always free to ask me in my WhatsApp number. Thank you.